Today's December 18th, 2024, regarding the drop we had on Ethereum and Bitcoin today. This is pretty much what it would be on the higher time frame. So Ethereum monthly time frame, this monthly fair value gap level is what I'll be referencing on the lower time frame chart. So just keep that in mind. These levels are going to be very important for my analysis today on price on Ethereum. Weekly time frame. So I mentioned in my previous Bitcoin video, we had buy side liquidity was taken, and then we're currently continuing to drop. This weekly fair value gap right here, these two pink lines are what ideally I would suggest is the drawn liquidity, so where price is reaching for. I'm going to zoom this in. This level right here, this weekly fair value gap is very tiny, but that's what it looks like. And look at how we tapped into it last week and the rejection away from it. So that's about a $400 move to the top once we tapped into this weekly fair value gap. We had a nice rejection back up. And again, we tapped into the weekly fair value gap last week. We had a nice energetic run up to then come back, tap into it again, and then a nice energetic run up, taking out the buy side liquidity right here. And then Ethereum basically collapsed today. And then over the course of the past few days, it dropped, and then we had a nice little run today to the downside. So I think it makes sense for me to see that Ethereum is going to want to reach for the pink level. Again, that's the weekly fair value gap I'm showing you guys. And again, keep in mind that sensitivity that whenever we tapped into it, we had a nice rejection back up. And so we'll see what we get. Daily time frame, this is what it looks like. Pretty much straightforward. There's not really much to it. Buy side liquidity was grabbed, and I just showed that to you guys right there. Okay, so that's what it looks like on the daily time frame. And then, oh yeah, that's right. So one more thing that I just was just mentioning that these two white lines, the monthly fair value gap level from 2022-ish roughly, or a little bit before that. This level is really important for price because when we come down into the 1 hour time frame, it's these two white lines. So again, this monthly fair value gap is these two white lines on the chart here, and the collapse on Ethereum today is in line with the monthly fair value gap level, and then a 1 hour fair value gap. So we had a 1 hour institutional order flow entry drill that's coincides with that higher time frame monthly fair value gap on Ethereum. So confluence within confluence, and then we had a nice rejection downwards. So that's pretty much it on the side of things for Ethereum. 4 hour time frame as well. 4 hour fair value gap, we tapped into it. Institutional order flow entry drill, also in line with the monthly fair value gap, these two white lines. So confluence within confluence, break below market. So again, just to kind of clarify, make it simple, buy side liquidity was grabbed, nice, and then break below market structure here. With a fair value gap, and then we have continuous breaking below market structure. And this level again is that 4 hour fair value gap on Ethereum in line with the monthly fair value gap. Institutional order flow entry drill to the downside, and that's a very high probability setup. So that's pretty much it. Let me just see. That's kind of all that really needs to be said. Bitcoin weekly time frame is pretty straightforward. We're dropping down right now. This weekly order block with the pink line kind of makes sense for me to see price want to reach for that. We'll see what we get. Daily time frame on Bitcoin. Daily fair value gap, basic premium high to fair value gap, same thing. Looking for price to reach into that and kind of see what we get. Just kind of see the kind of sensitivity we're going to get from there, kind of go from there. But 4 hour time frame, so I mentioned in one of my previous Bitcoin analysis videos that um, it was before this, obviously this whole run to the downside, but it was when price was here and here, I think. I had said that I wanted to see this 4 hour fair value gap stay respected to continue to push price higher, and that if we lose this 4 hour fair value gap, it would be used as an inversion fair value gap to be used as resistance for price to go down, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So I mentioned that in one of my previous Bitcoin analysis videos. So 4 hour fair value gap turns into an inversion fair value gap inside of another 4 hour fair value gap for Bitcoin, institutional order flow entry drill, confluence within confluence, and then we displace to the downside, reaching for ideally this daily fair value gap level. And so that's kind of what we're seeing. And then the only thing that's really relevant on the 5 minute time frame is, again, this kind of drop right here, breaking it down. This would have been 5 minute fair value gap entry right there, and then there's another one right there, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it. This drop on Bitcoin, for me personally, I think I was also mentioning that as well in my previous videos that, Ethereum and Bitcoin, they correlate together. And so Ethereum's basically taking up buy side liquidity on the daily right there, right? And then breaking below market structure and so on and so forth. So I kind of anticipated this drop on Bitcoin, this retracement at the same time that Ethereum took out its buy side liquidity level that I was just showing you guys right there. So that happened on Ethereum, dropped, and then it kind of made sense for Bitcoin to do the same thing. And then Bitcoin dropped as well. So that's kind of the how they kind of correlate together is that when Bitcoin or Ethereum takes out a previous major liquidity pool or taps a previous major high time frame PD array, that then you can expect Bitcoin to kind of follow through or retrace or make a move to the downside, or pause momentum or retrace and so on, because Ethereum is kind of tapping into a previous PD array. So like on the monthly time frame right here, this is a monthly order block. I mentioned this in my previous Bitcoin and Ethereum analysis video. So ideally, when Ethereum reaches for this level and taps into these two levels for the first time, so 42.90 to 44.60, we're going to see probably a retracement and some sort of reactionary move. And when that happens on Ethereum, then I can anticipate Bitcoin to kind of do the same thing, even though Bitcoin has no previous history, because we're in all-time highs pretty much. So there's no previous data to refer to. So when Ethereum taps this high time frame PD array, we can anticipate that Bitcoin will follow through and kind of have its retracements as well. So it's pretty much it. Cheers.